Hey everybody, it's Pax. Welcome back to the Edge of the Earth campaign. We just finished up scenario number 1, part 3, and we're proceeding on to Interlude 1, Restful Night. Safe at last, you and the remaining members of the expedition take stock of your situation. You have lost several members of the team, but your numbers remain strong. Part of you knows that staying any longer would prove foolish or deadly, but a great many questions crowd your thoughts, demanding answers despite your worries. What were those uncanny, phantasmal creatures? What happened here after Dyer's expedition left the icy wastes behind? You and the others discuss the situation at length and consider various plans. Some believe in the total abandonment of the expedition, but to return empty-handed now would prove disastrous for the university, frustrate the scientific community, and possibly cost the remaining crew their careers. After all, very few believe Dyer's outlandish claims. Who would believe this? In the end, you decide to press onward. Another flight is out of the question, of course. That thing in the sky must still be out there. It was a miracle you survived one airplane crash, let alone two. No, there's only one way to reach the site described in Dyer's report now. You must travel on foot. The decision made, you retire to get what meager rest you can before the grueling trek ahead. You only have enough time to check on a few team members, regardless of whether they're alive or crossed out. One at a time, choose and read 3 of the sections below, 4 instead if the team fled to the mountains. If the game effect of the chosen section cannot be performed, it does not count towards this total, and you may choose a new section instead. Once you've read the appropriate number of sections, proceed to Restful Night 2. So, what we see in the campaign log here is actually a reading for every single member of the expedition that we've brought with us, dead and alive. And now we get the choice to make of who to read out and who not to. So we're going to start by checking in on our expedition leader, Dr. Amy Kensler. The leader of the expedition gives you little heed as you enter her tent. Her eyes are instead glued to the microscope in front of her. She appears to be studying a glob of inky, multicolored ichor in a small petri dish. She must have recovered some of that gunk earlier. You ask if she thinks it's safe to be studying it so closely. Of course not, she replies in a dry monotone. But sometimes scientific progress requires an element of jeopardy. It's true, in a way. You're only here at all because the team decided to put themselves at risk in order to confirm the truth behind Dyer's report. You asked Dr. Kensler what she had discovered. Frustratingly little. Physiologically speaking, the substance is unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm not even completely sure it is a liquid. It seems to possess qualities of all 3 states of matter. She finally sets the microscope aside, covers the petri dish, and meets your gaze. It will be fascinating, were it not trying to kill us. Dr. Kensler's research allows you to view the situation with greater clarity. In your campaign log, record Dr. Kensler is sharing her research with you. Next, we'll check how Avery Claypool is doing. Claypool is examining a map of the Ross Ice Shelf as you approach, tracing his fingers over topographical lines. We were supposed to have better weather conditions, he explains as you hunch over next to him. I don't know how or why, but something is messing with the weather patterns here. We're getting hit with storms too sudden, even for Antarctica, and the temperature variance is closer to what we would find in winter. You ask Claypool if there's anything that can be done to prevent further hardship. The inclination might be to hunker down, he replies, and surely there are some among us who are too exhausted to go on. There are others who feel the opposite, that we should leave immediately and find safety elsewhere. I believe the best course of action is somewhere in between. He taps the map in front of him again, beckoning you closer. These storms are hitting fast and hard. We have to find our opening and move out the moment this one lets up, he explains. You nod in approval. Claypool's predictions help you stay safe from the inclement weather. Remove a frost token from the chaos bag. Great. In addition, if Roald Ellsworth is still alive, curious, you pry a bit, asking Claypool what the deal is between him and Ellsworth. Huh? Oh, Roald? He stammers, avoiding your gaze. He's just so damn stubborn, and hard to read. You raise an eyebrow. Okay, it is more than that. He's a loner, by his very nature. Getting close to somebody like that... He sighs, trying to muster up the words. Is difficult, for both parties. But worth it, you observe aloud. Yes, I suppose it can be, he replies with a smile. Sometimes. And finally, we'll pay our respects to the fallen, James Cookie Fredericks. As you set up camp, one of the other team members approaches, holding a satchel of Cookie's old belongings. I figure that you're the best person to take these, the young man says mournfully, handing it to you. You sit by the campfire and examine the items in the satchel one by one. Inside are several of Cookie's personal effects, a pocket watch with a cracked face, a matchbook emblazoned with the logo of the Excelsior Hotel, and of course, his trusty .32 Colt revolver. It is exceptionally well maintained. Its barrel polished clean, and its wooden grip immaculate. Knowing Cookie, it had less to do with his love of the thing and more to do with old habits dying hard. You swing the cylinder out and note that only a few bullets remain. You rotate the cylinder oddly and give Cookie a silent promise. Don't worry, I'll put these bullets to good use. Any one investigator may add the Cookie's Custom .32 story asset to their deck. This card can be found in the Memorials of the Lost encounter set. It does not count towards that investigator's deck size. Cookie's Custom .32, two-cost asset with 1 combat and 1 wild icon. Item, weapon, firearm, fast, uses 2 ammo. Spend an ammo fight. Either fight with a base combat of 5, or get +2 for this attack. This attack deals +1 damage and takes 1 hand slot. Wow, this is a great stopgap weapon for either of my 2 investigators. Stella can be easily getting this out and swinging for the fences. But more importantly, if she goes and upgrades into a scavenging build, she can pretty much just cycle this and old keyrings and just always have a reliable weapon that's just a little bit better than the meat cleaver. On the other hand, if I toss this in Amanda, I can probably put off picking up a time-worn brand for her for a good long time. So I'm going to have a think about this. Silence falls over the camp as one by one, the team falls into deep slumber. You try your damnedest to get some rest yourself, but every time you close your eyes, the image of those phantasmal creatures comes seeping behind your eyelids, and you shoot awake. You wonder morbidly if death is the only way you will ever rest on this journey. If there are 3 or more names crossed out, proceed to Restful Night 3. Otherwise, skip to Scenario 2, The Forbidden Peaks. The wind howls as your party prepares for the long journey ahead. There is very little conversation. Even if you could hear the others' muffled voices through your earmuffs and scarves, what would you say? The silence of your shared terror is loud enough. Your destination is many miles ahead of you. The jagged peaks loom far on the horizon, taunting you. You run a mental checklist of your situation. Check your campaign log and read each passage below that corresponds to your situation. If Elia Ashevik is alive and wooden sledge is listed under supplies recovered. It is not large or sturdy enough to carry all of us, Elia explains, as he hauls the last crate of supplies onto the old sledge, but it should be able to carry our provisions and equipment at least. He makes sure the lines are taut, and all of the dogs' harnesses are properly fastened before giving on you, at the head of the pack, a scratch behind your ears. Not looking forward to having to lug this thing up those mountains, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, girl, you ready? Anu barks once. Yeah, I know you are. The investigators suffer no ill effects. If Avery Claypool is alive. Weather might look clear right now, Claypool explains, but it could turn on a dime. We'll be on ice for most of the journey, so be on the lookout for cracks. We need ice about 60 centimeters thick in order to walk across, so stay behind me at all times, and I'll use this auger to make sure it's safe. He holds up a spiral-tipped drilling device and leads the way. The investigators suffer no ill effects. If Takada Hiroko is alive. As you set out, you hear Takada singing something under her breath, just quiet enough that you can't tell what it is. One of the others, however, seems to recognize it. That song again, they say. Heard you singing it on the Theodosia on the way over. Takada sighs. It is a song my father taught me. It helps me pass the time, she explains. You ask if she would like to teach it to you, and she gives you the first smile you've seen from her since the trek began. Yes, I would. You spend the remainder of the journey singing and bonding together, whittling the time away. The investigators suffer no ill effects. If the investigators scouted the mountain pass, well, we didn't do that. The frozen tundra leading up to the foothills of the jagged mountains is hard terrain to traverse. Even prepared as you are, with snowshoes and warm clothes to fight the cold, the going is slow and rough. The wind fights you at every turn, its gusts strong enough to knock you over. But you continue onward, undeterred. You hike through the snow and ice for many grueling hours. Luckily, you encountered no more of the creatures from the previous 2 days, leaving you to ponder if it was all some cruel mirage. But as you draw closer to the base of the jagged snow-tipped mountains, you find another manner of creature altogether. It lies frozen and half buried in the snow, like a macabre waymarker guiding you onward. Its body is shaped like a drum, with thick hide and a pair of torn, leathery wings. A starfish-shaped appendage sticks out of the snow from its top half, adorned with 5 dead eyes and a set of prismatic cilia. 5 sets of tentacles lie frozen in the ice. The sight of the thing chills you more than the Antarctic weather possibly could. There can be no doubt this is one of the elder things that Professor Dyer and Danforth encountered the last time they ventured into the heart of Antarctica. But what killed it? Surely it was not just the cold. Before we get playing, let's take a quick look at our deck upgrades. For Stella, we're dropping 1 Mysterious Raven. We're picking up a Scavenging level 2 for 2 experience. And then we're also picking up our second Quick Learner. And I've decided to take Cookie's Custom 32 in Stella. It was a bit of a tough choice. I know Amanda's kind of got a greater propensity for killing, but I figure Stella can probably ditch it and replay over it with Scavenging level 2 and old keyrings a lot quicker than Amanda is going to be cycling. And Amanda is eventually going to want to get a Time Worn brand, and then once she has the brand, Cookie's 32 isn't the greatest. So I decided to put it in Stella. As for the rest of her deck, I haven't recorded it here because they come and go so quickly, but she does have 2 Tekelilis that are the Take 1 Horror, and she has a third Tekelili, which is discard an asset you control. So just as reference going into the next scenario, that's what's in there. And then for Amanda, we're dropping our 2 Perceptions and our Magnifying Glass. For, you guessed it, 2 Perceptions and a Magnifying Glass. Bog standard stuff. I just want to get through the deck a little faster, and I know Perception helps passing the tests and get through faster. So between those 2 things, it's just super handy. And the Magnifying Glass, being able to return it to hand to play your knife, it's really handy. So that's what we're looking at for deck upgrades. So we've kind of got a pretty standard setup here with the Investigator setup. We each choose an Expedition team member who's not crossed off. But there's a little bit extra here. If there's a check mark next to that character's name, instead use the Resolute version found in the Fatal Mirage encounter set, which I have not done yet. And you place damage on them. So for Stella, we're going to be picking Roald Ellsworth, the guy that blanks treacheries on your location. And for Amanda, we're going to be picking Elia Ashevak, who I've not chosen yet, but he has 3 secrets, and he can spend a secret to evade with a base skill value of 5, and if successful, you move to a connecting location. So with the rest of the scenario set up, the way the scenario works is you see the locations there on the screen. You shuffle 5 of these 7 mountainside locations, put 5 of them into play of the 7, and they count as level 0 to 5 ascending from top to the summit. We also add an Elder Thing token to the Chaos Bag. We do some stuff with supplies, where we put each Expedition Story asset listed under our supplies recovered into play at the very starting location. We set aside the Terror of the Stars enemy. If you're on a harder expert, you start with Extra Doom, and we do our normal Tekelili weakness stuff, shuffle the encounter set, and we're ready to begin. So let's go to the table. Alright, no face cam today since I'm not streaming. First things first, we'll add that Elder Thing token into the bag with the existing bag that we've got in front of us. I just splayed it out as a little reminder that we removed that Frost token. And we've got a pretty even distribution of a normal looking standard bag now. And we'll do the setup for the mountainsides. And we'll go through the scenario card and act and agenda, and then I'll pull my opening hands. So, to the Forbidden Peaks, pretty normal stuff here. -X is the level of your location on the skull. -1 cultist. If you fail, move to the location directly below you, which is if you're at level 1, you move to level 0. The tablet -3. If you fail, lose control of an expedition asset and place it at your location. The Elder Thing is -4. If you fail, the nearest Elder Thing enemy moves once towards you. If it is engaged with you, it attacks. Put that right there as a reference card. And let's randomize these mountainside locations. Quick little shuffle. we need to have 5 locations total, which are going to go like this. And I'm hoping that by putting them this way, you guys can see them a little better on your screen. Perfect. We'll set the other ones aside. Finally, the expedition items all come into play here. There's a lot of them. There's a lot of stuff going on with this. Mineral specimen. They're all zero-cost assets with some pretty cool icons. Double intellect wild. Item, relic, expedition. Uses 3 charges. Spend a charge, investigate with a base skill of 5. Cancel each frost token revealed. If you succeed, discover an additional clue at your location. This is on level 0. The wooden sledge. 1 agility, 2 wild. Action, exhaust wooden sledge. An investigator at this location searches the top 6 cards of their deck for up to 3 non-weakness item or supply cards and attaches them face down to wooden sledge. Shuffle their deck. While this is under an investigator's control, face-down cards attached to it may be played as if they were in the hand of any investigator at its location. So it's like a shared backpack. Uses 3 supplies, small radio, 2 intellect, 1 wild. You may trigger abilities on assets from the expedition team encounter set that are not in play, but whose names are not crossed off in the campaign log. Instead of paying that ability's non-action costs, exhaust small radio and spend 1 supply. Let's meet radio for help. Miasmic crystal, 2 willpower, 1 wild. Reaction: when an investigator at your location draws a Tekalili weakness, spend a charge. That investigator cancels the effects of that weakness, places it on the bottom of the Tekalili deck, and draws a card, completely nullifying a Tekalili from your draw. That's going to be going on Stella if I can get it. Green Stopestone, 2 combat icons, 1 wild. Uses 4 charges. When you perform a successful attack, spend a charge, exhaust it, deal a bonus attack for that damage. Dynamite, 2 uses, 2 supplies. Spend 1 supply and exhaust dynamite. Choose either your location or a connecting location. Deal 3 damage to each enemy investigator at the chosen location. It's literally dynamite. Spare parts, 2 willpower, 1 wild. Uses 3 supplies, 1 supply, and exhaust spare parts. Add a supply to another asset at your location. Or choose an investigator at your location to gain 1 resource. So that is all of the supplies that we gathered from the previous scenario, sitting here at our bottom mountainside. Let's take a look at some opening hands. I've already shuffled these decks ahead of time pretty thoroughly. 5 cards for Amanda. Dream Diary, 2 shortcuts, overpower, crack the case. Not bad. Getting that Dream Diary out early will be really good. 5 cards for Stella. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dark Horse, 2 Tekalilis. Let's redraw those. Meat Cleaver. Scavenging level 2. Fight or Flight, look what I found. Dark Horse. Also pretty good. Let's take a little think on how we're going to approach this one. I suppose this is a little bit of a cheat on my part, now that I've got the scenario set up, but I can see pretty clearly that these mountainsides cannot enter the location if all the clues in the location directly below it haven't been discovered. So we're going to be getting rid of these shortcuts and this overpower on Amanda, because presumably we're not going to have enemies on the very first turn. And a Dark Horse and the Fight or Flight on Stella. Neither of them are really good until I'm already a little bit set up. I'm going to have to adjust how my table looks here because my discard pile is currently hanging off the side. There we go, that's a bit better. Okay, so 3 cards for Amanda, another Crack the Case, Dream Enhancing Serum, and another Overpower. Not great, but not awful. Cookies Custom 32, and another Meat Cleaver. So it's kind of an awkward set of hands here because Amanda really doesn't do any cluing, and Stella can only really pull off a look what I found with Quick Learner if this is a low shroud location. And get clues that way. So we'll see how that goes. Let's put our guys at the location and then we'll read off the agenda and the act. The location is a 1 shroud location with 3 per investigator clues on it. After you move to Deep Drifts from a location below it, discard the top 3 cards of your deck. Draw each weakness discarded this way. Victory 1. Well, at least we can get the clues off of this pretty early with both Stella and Amanda. Let's take a look at the agenda and the act. Agenda 1A, you arrive at the foothills of the menacing mountain. The strange caves and odd formations of the mountain's summit beg to be explored. Forced, after you move to a location, return all of your clues to the token pool. 6 Doom. And Act 1, Ascend the Mountain. Carrying as much expedition gear as you can, you must climb the imposing mountainside to unlock the secrets that lie on the other side. Action. Take control of an expedition asset at your location. Objective. Get to the top of the mountain. If each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. So presumably, we want to bring these things with us, and we are rewarded for doing so later. Because I don't think that any of them are really necessarily good enough to be like the be-all, end-all, just in and of this scenario, but like there's got to be a reward for getting them to the top. Otherwise, you could just leave them, right? Almost got started without my starting money. Okay, that's on there now. Let's go ahead and do the first investigation phase trigger of Amanda. She gets a promise of power to hand. These cracked cases are not going to be super useful, so we're just going to pop that underneath her at this one trad location. I don't think we're leaving for a little bit. Six clues is a lot to get, and I've got a full turn of setup here for her, so that's what we're going to do. First action, I'm going to spend 3 to play the Dream Enhancing Serum. Always good to have. Second action, we're going to spend 2 to grab the Dream Diary. I'm going to start putting things out pretty far for her. This can even go all the way over here. Perfect. Getting a little used to this camera setup the way it is here. Stella's space is going to be pretty cramped. But that's okay. And then last action, we're just going to draw a card, seeing if we can get a duplicate somewhere. Magnifying glass, good to see, but not useful until next turn. And I think I'll just pop it into play in case there's some sort of awful effect that could trash one of these. I'd prefer that it didn't. I think we're going to go ahead and just pull and investigate on this Deep Drifts. We're 2 against 3. Just giving it a go right off the bat. Get those 2 clues off the liquid I found if I can. May as well get our bonus action back. Makes sense to me. +1. So 3 against 3 pulls a clue. We'll do another investigate, 2 against 1. May as well just get all the clues if it'll let us. You know what I mean? Wouldn't mind getting 2 at once with the liquid I found, though. So 2 against 1. Let's see a -2. How's that sound? Sound good? -2 sounds good. -4. Just as good to me. Dropped a resource. That's gone permanently. But we'll do a liquid I found. Pick up 2 other clues. Just kidding, I picked it up. Alright, I've got 2 actions left. Here's the tricky part. Are we just going to keep investigating? No. I think we're going to spend 1 action. And we're going to go ahead and pick up the green soapstone. I think Stella's going to be our fighter for a little bit. Amanda really doesn't fight great until she's set up. And if enemies start popping out of that deck really early, we're going to want to be able to deal with them. So this comes into play with 4 charges. When you perform a successful attack, spend a charge and exhaust it to deal bonus damage for that attack. And I've got the Cookies 32 in hand, so I'm not too concerned about getting these meat cleavers into play as soon as possible. And Scavenging has no targets, so I may as well pull another Investigate, 2 against 0, because -2 difficulty. And so long as I don't pull an auto-fail, I've got it. Bam. Four clues on Stella. Turn 1. That is not something to hate. Alright. Upkeep. A deduction on Amanda. Not the greatest where this is a mostly empty location, but not awful by any means. And then a Mariner's Compass on Stella. If these locations hold up with this much money, that might be super good with these spare parts, now that I'm thinking about it. And I think, if I don't have to get out of here next turn, after the Mythos phase, I'm going to spend some time picking up a couple more of these. Okay, so we get a Doom on the agenda, 1 out of 6. We'll do a real quick shuffle on this, because I did shuffle it before we got going, but I want to make sure y'all get to enjoy it. And we'll do an encounter card for Amanda. Avalanche. If the level of your location is 1 to 4, move to the location directly below you, then test X. X is the level of your location. Okay, so we're testing 0. Oh no, if you do not move by this effect, surge. Sorry. Should have read the whole effect. A Constricting Elder Thing. X is the level of your location to a minimum of 1. He's a 3/1/2 hunter. While it's engaged with you, you cannot move to the location above your location. He has 1 damage and 2 sanity. And then, 2 horror. And then Stella gets the Other Thing Scavenger, Hunter. 3/3/3. After he attacks you, discard the top 3 cards of your deck. Draw each weakness discarded this way. Okay. So, I think we've got a pretty clear path of what's going on. Stella is going to have to kill these. And it's going to be interesting to figure out how she's going to do it. But before we get too far with that, let's do a draw for Amanda. A Eureka. Okay. Pretty decent hand, and this Crack the Case has got to go. And we've got an Overpower in hand. We could just try to punch this guy down, because we are going to have our Dream Diary as well. It's not the worst thing in the world to do. But it is a little inefficient if she also goes after the Other Thing Scavenger. So, I think we are going to put the Overpower under her and just try and land a couple hits and get a couple draws out of it this turn. I think that's okay. So the Essence of the Dream goes to hand. Got some decent icons here, but nothing really to cry at home about. We may as well commit the Essence of the Dream to the fight against this guy, because it's only got 2 icons, and it's not like I'm getting any more. So we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against 3. It's reasonable. Not incredible, but reasonable, I think. -0. So he's toast, because he only had 1 health. Essence of the Dream gets thrown away, and we get a card draw out of Amanda's Overpower for another Overpower. Little unfortunate that. Would have been nice to get the Dream Enhancing Serum trigger off, but that's okay. And then I think we're going to try out a couple of easy investigates. Maybe we'll try out 1 easy investigate. We'll try out 1 easy investigate with just 3 against 1. Second action. Doesn't hurt to try. I think Stella Clark's turn is going to be kind of used up on this Other Thing, unfortunately. Yep, that's a clue. Yeah, we'll just go again. Actually, you know what? We're actually going to take a card draw last action, which is Unexpected Courage. Okay. A little more setup for next turn. Stella. Stella, Stella, Stella. What are you going to do? So there's currently no need for her to fail a test, and so I just don't want to. All I really want to do is burn my first action so that I don't waste one of Cookie's ammo shooting her. Shooting the Other Thing Scavenger at like 5 against 5. That would be a massive waste. So what I'll do instead is I'll take an action to grab a part off of my location, which will cause an attack of opportunity, 1 and 1, which will discard the top 3 cards of my deck, an old keyring, track shoes, and a fight or flight. Ooh, losing the fight or flight sucks, but those 2 I can get back with scavenging later if I need to. And I will pick up this, which one was it that I wanted to take? This miasmatic crystal. So I'm going to just put that right there, and I'll just leave these like here. They're on that location still. This has 3 charges on it, and it's the one that lets me burn through my Tekelilis a bit more safely. So that's first action. Then I'm going to fast play for 1, 2 resources. The Cookie's Custom 32, which gets 2 ammo on it. Second action, I'm going to shoot this guy with an ammo. You could either get +2 combat or fight with a base value of 5. Doesn't really matter. They're the same. So I'd be 5 against 3 with a bonus damage going into it. So we're just going to use that. 5 against 3 is fine. 2 up is good enough. I can afford to fail this, I think. And if not, I'll regret it a bit. -3. If you fail, lose control of an expedition asset and place it at your location. Well, we'll just go ahead and lose that miasmatic crystal right away, so that's back at the location. We do fail, but we do still have 2 actions left, so now we'll shoot again with Cookie's Custom 32. This time we're fighting 5 against 1, and we're probably a lot more protected. We're definitely a lot more protected, and we can deal 3 damage with the green soapstone if we hit. And we'll have an action remaining too. 0, so he's toast when we spend a green soapstone charge. We have 1 action left. May as well pick up this last clue, eh? No sense in dilly-dallying and waiting for it next turn. We'll pick up that last clue, and then we can get the scavenging. Actually, you know what? No. We're going to spend a resource on scavenging so that we can start getting some stuff back out into play from the discard. Alright, for upkeep, buck on Amanda and a lab assistant. Not so bad. And then for Stella, a buck and a Tekelili. So she's just going to have to discard an asset she controls and then put the Tekelili on the bottom of the deck. But Cookie's Custom 32 is an asset I control and it's empty anyways, so we may as well. Bottom of the deck. Not so bad. Not so bad at all. Alright. It's a Doom on the agenda. Encounter card for Amanda. Ice Shaft. Test 3 agility for each frost token revealed. You fail, take 2 damage. So she's testing this quite a bit below. 1 below. She could toss like a Promise of Power into this if she really didn't want to take the damage, but I don't have any damage on me right now, so we're just going to go ahead and eat this one, I think. Hope I don't take 3, but there's always the risk of it. -1, so that's 2 damage. 1, 2. And then for Stella, she gets the Antarctic Winds. Nearest location cannot play cards or draw cards from their deck at our location. So that's a little poopy. But we're not inundated with enemies. We can pick these up if we need to, so let's get going. The Overpower is going to be gone from underneath Amanda, and she has to draw a card, which is a Vicious Blow. Okay, we can save that one for later for sure. And let's just go ahead and put a Eureka underneath her. Oh no, but that's no good for this turn. We do not want that this turn. So let's put an Unexpected Courage underneath her. Little sad to put the Unexpected Courage under her, but we can't draw anything at this location anyways. We don't have a shortcut to move up after we clear this last location. So we won't be getting a lot of value out of the Eureka anyways. I'm coming to think, after that last turn there, that Stella holding on to these expedition items is probably not a great idea going forward, because those tablets are going to make me drop them. And that's just a big action tax. And so it's really counteracting the fact that when she fails a skill test, she gets an action back. So until she starts getting a bit more benefit from failing tests, I don't think I can afford that tempo loss. So we're going to try and get them on Amanda instead. And to that end, I think that I'm going to have her go first. So she's going to go ahead, and she's going to take control of the mineral specimen, first action, letting her investigate at 5, canceling the frost tokens and discovering an additional clue if she succeeds. That's 1, 2, 3 charges. And then she's also going to take control of the small radio. That's got the 3 supplies and lets me use abilities from the other guys outside of the level, which I'm going to have to put kind of off to the side to reference now. So I've got them all here, except for Cookie. Obviously, he's toast. But they're all here now for me to kind of think of. And then last action, we're going to go ahead and have her investigate to try and pick up this clue, I think. Actually, no, I kind of want to get the clue from Stella to see if she can trigger the scavenging. She probably won't, but it wouldn't suck to get the scavenging triggered. So I think that... Nah, I think I kind of have to. Oh, by the way, Essence of the Dream to my hand at the start of the turn. We're just going to investigate 5 against 1. Stella's not going to be able to get a scavenging off on here. I kind of want to wait until I have Granny and maybe something else to help me boost a little more. Some good commits that Amanda doesn't mind using up just to get cards back. Getting Cookie's Custom 32 back will be really essential, but I do have the Meat Cleavers in hand if I really need to. So, 5 against 1. That is a -4, but it is successful. Get that last clue from the location. And that is... Oh, we can't play... But I can take control of them. Right, okay. That is Amanda's turn. Great, okay. Stella. Ella. I am going to first action take this Miasmic Crystal back, because I think that's really quite good on her, and I don't want it to sit around and not be gotten. I'm also going to pick up, I think, the Dynamite, just to get it and bring it up with me. That's 2 charges on the Dynamite. That's not really visible, but I'll just put those right there, and hopefully it can be seen. And then we're going to move up into the mountainside. After we move to a location, we return all of our clues to the token pool. And she's going to head up here and see what we're looking at. 2 Shroud. After you move to the narrow ridge from a location below it, to take a horror. Okay. So 1 horror on Stella. And it has 4 clues on it. So we picked up those and moved, and that's her turn. Okay, for Amanda, she gets 1 card draw, which is a Perception level 2. Still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards in hand. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this Cracked the Case. It's not going to be triggering Dream Enhancing Serum, and I wouldn't mind committing this Essence of the Dream to a test if I really need to. And a resource. And then for Stella, she gets a Trial by Fire and a resource. Not too awful. All right. 3 out of 6. And then for Amanda, we get Whiteout, attached to the location, get -1 to all your abilities. Not a big deal. And then Stella, Snowfall, place 2 clues in your location from the token pool. Oh, yuck. Well, gonna need to be clearing that pretty soon, aren't we? Okay. The Unexpected Courage is going to leave Amanda. And we get a Eureka, which will trigger a Dream Enhancing Serum for a knife. Okay. That's fine. What are we going to put underneath her? The problem is, once again, I kind of want to pick these up before I move, and I don't have my shortcuts to get up there quickly. But I also would like to get my Lab Assistant into play as a little bit of soak before I walk up. So I think, because Stella's okay for fighting in a minute. Oh man, I'm really tempted to toss away this Overpower. You know what I think I'm going to actually toss away, though? I'm going to toss away this Promise of Power underneath her. I'm not taking any tests this turn. I'm not looking to add any clues. I'm not curses. I'm not looking to add any... crush any tests. I suppose I could put a Eureka under and get more Dream Enhancing Serum triggers, but... I think this is okay. And we'll just go ahead and take Amanda's turn. So she's going to pick up the spare parts and the wooden sledge, which are going to come into play with 3 uses on the spare parts, which can just give up money, which is pretty good. And then she's going to spend 2 resources on a Lab Assistant. Can that be seen? That can't be seen. Can a small radio even be seen? Not really. Put her right there as an extra hand size thing. And when she enters play, I draw 2 cards. Whispers from the Deep, that sucks. And a Deduction, that sucks. But here we are. Not that big of a deal. We're at that location. Okay. Take a look at what Stella's doing. I think Stella can not really afford not to do the following, which is 1, 2, 3. Ooh. No, you know what I'm thinking of? And I wonder how cheeky this is. Let's investigate. No, let's not investigate first. Let's play 3 for a Mariner's Compass. And then we'll investigate. 2 against 2. -2, so we fail. We have 2 actions left. We'll investigate again, once with the Mariner Compass. 2 against 0. -1, so that's successful for 2 clues. And then again, 2 against 2. Like to pull a 0 and get Cookie's custom back, is what I'm hoping for. And that's why I went and intentionally failed that first test, so I could definitely get a 3rd attempt. +1, perfect. Scavenging fires, returning Cookie's custom 32 to my hand. It's not, it's not, I can't play it right away, but at least I have it in hand, ready to play later. Great. Okay. Whiteout's going to discard at the end of the round. Draw a card for Amanda. It's an Unexpected Courage. Draw a card for Stella. It's a Live and Learn. Love to see that. Definitely taking money. Oh, I don't have Dark Horse, so I don't really have a choice in the matter. I think I'm going to go ahead and kind of shuffle around this a bit. That's where, yeah, I'm going to put my draw cards here, put the rest of her tableau up like that. Okay. Happier with that. Doom goes up on the agenda, 4 out of 6. And an encounter card for Amanda is the Elder Thing Scavenger. So he's on her, but we do have Elia to help us out of there, if we can. And then for Stella, we get Glimpse the Unthinkable. Draw the top card of the Tekulili deck, resolve its effects, shuffle it into any Investigator's deck, and instead of placing it on the bottom. If no Tekulili weakness is drawn by this effect, Glimpse the Unspeakable gains Surge. Now, to that effect, I don't think that if I use this... No. When you draw this, this is presuming that it's drawing it from your deck. Not from the top of the deck, Tekulili deck. So I don't think that I can use the Miasmic Crystal to dodge that. So we're going to go ahead and draw this top card. She places a clue on her location. Okay, that's fine. Oh, I forgot to get a clue for that last successful investigate. And then this is going to get sleeved and put into her deck. Yeah, shuffle it in. Okay. Okay, not the worst turn possible, but that Elder Thing Scavenger is going to be annoying in a minute or two. I do have to get that evade off with Amanda, I think. I don't think I really have an option about not. I also needed to discard at the end of the round with Amanda last turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I guess I would have discarded the Unexpected Courage. Because I already, that's not going to get me another Dream Enhancing Serum draw. So that's the Mythos phase. At the start of the investigation phase, we lose the Promise of Power. We draw a Lab Assistant, and the Whispers of the Deep goes underneath Amanda. That's okay. And then it is our turn. So we're going to go with Amanda first, just to make sure that we can pull this off. We're going to spend a secret to evade this guy with base 5. Whispers of the Deep brings us down to 4. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards in hand, so we're going to commit the Essence of the Dream to get +4. So we are at 8 against 3 to evade this Elder Thing Scavenger at the Deep Drifts. +1, so he's super duper evaded at the location. Essence of the Dream is going to bugger off for a little bit. And I think we're going to be running away from this guy, for sure. So we're going to move up to the narrow bridge. And then we are going to do what? That is the real question. We're going to go ahead and use the mineral specimen, using a charge to investigate at a base of 5. So we're at 4 from Whispers of the Deep. Five. And 6. Actually, you know what? What we're actually going to do, we're going to keep the deduction, and we're going to put in another Eureka, because I can get 2 clues with the Mariner's Compass on Stella. So we're going to be 4, 5, 6 against 2. Oh, +1 from the magnifying glass as well. 7 against 2. 0. So we're going to get the clue. We're going to succeed to get an additional clue from the mineral specimen. This isn't exhausted. That's interesting. I would have thought it was. Also, after she left that location, she should have lost her 2 clues to the token pool. So we'll be like that. And then we'll trigger her Eureka twice, which is going to look at the top 3 cards and draw a card from amongst them. Shortcut Grizzly Totem. Let's take... Ooh, that's tricky. Let's take the shortcut. Quick shuffle. And then another Eureka. Perception, Medical Student, Dream Enhancing Serum. Medical students are going to be good, but I don't have time to do it right now. So let's take the other Perception. Shuffle those back in really quick. And then once those are shuffled in, we have 2 Perceptions in hand, which is going to trigger the Dream Enhancing Serum for another draw. Pretty good turn, I think. Vicious Blow. So, let's see what we've got in duplicate. 2 Vicious Blows, 2 deductions, 2 Perception 2s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not even close. Okay, so that is Amanda's turn. I think we're going to try to get 1 turn ahead of this guy on the hunting. So, to that effect... Stella, let's go ahead. Let's take the investigate. I don't really want to investigate 2 against 4. I would love to not drop any of these guys, but I guess I can just use the bonus action to pull that off if I need to. So 2 against 4. Oh, I'll need to spend my $1 to get the bonus clue from Mariner's Compass. I hadn't accounted for that. So that's a bit of a mistake on my part. I think I should have gotten those 2 other clues with the deductions. Might have been a little bit faster. But that's okay. I even have this dynamite here. You know what I might do? I'll pop this spare parts over, put a dynamite charge on my dynamite for, a supply on my dynamite for Stella. She's going to fail this investigate, and then she's going to toss the dynamite back at that Elder Thing scavenger in a moment. -2. Okay, so she fails the investigate. Oh, you know what else? I forgot. Elia Ashevak does a move for Amanda. So she actually has an extra action. But, you know what? It's long gone. So we fail that. We'll toss the dynamite back at him. That's exhausted, but I'm not going to use it again this turn, so I'm not going to bother tilting it. And then I've got 2 more actions. Let's go ahead and just do 2 investigates, I think. See if I can't pull that off. 2 against 0. Elder Thing, or Elder Sign. Do I want to heal up? Ooh. No, I think I want the clues more right now. And then 1 more. These are victory locations, so I don't want to leave clues on them. If I get that treachery again that put 2 clues on my location, even if I've revealed the next one, I want to make sure I get that if I can. and a 0. Okay, so that's all the clues, that's all the actions, that's all the turn. Ready everything that needs readying. And then upkeep for Amanda is going to grab. Practice makes perfect. Okay, good to see. And a resource. And for Stella, neither rain nor snow, and a resource. That's also super nice. One more Doom up on the agenda for 5 out of 6. Let's head into the Mythos phase for encounter draws. Polar Vortex, attached to your location. When you end your turn at the attached location, each card you control with health takes a direct damage. Well, thank goodness we're going to be leaving here. Oh, let's not forget that 0. Would have been a bad one to leave around. And then for Stella, another Polar Vortex. Oh man, those are great to see on this turn. That's awesome. Okay, so Amanda's losing her Whispers from the Deep. And drawing what from her deck? Another Practice Makes Perfect. Yep, second one. Dream Enhancing Serum triggers to draw a medical student. Okay, cool. When she moved up, I forgot to put a horror on this lab assistant. But that's okay. I don't know what to expect in the next location. I'm going to put a deduction under her, assuming that it's another one of these big clue locations. And I'm not going to wait around for Shortcut to get me another Dream Enhancing Serum draw. I'm just going to move up. And I think I'm going to let Amanda go first, because it could be a really high Shroud. I really just don't know. So, action 0, I guess. We'll shortcut up. She just goes, whoop, right up the mountainside. We're now at level 2. Only 2 clues on this location. Forced, after you move to the White Bluff from a location below it, test X agility. X is 1 plus this location's level. If you fail, lose control of an expedition asset and place it at White Bluff. Okay, so that's just taxing us in action if we fail. Forgot the essence of the dream at the start of my turn, but I'm just going to go ahead and take it. So we'll just commit the essence of the dream to that. So we're testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 against, I believe this is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. 6 against 3 to not lose one of these. I'm happy with that. Elder Sign. Okay, so she gets no benefit from that at all, but she does not fail the test, which is what I was aiming for. Now, she still has her whole turn ahead of her. Let's go ahead and investigate the location. We are at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with a perception. Do I have something else I'd rather put into that? I don't think so. You know what I could do, though? Yeah, I think I will do something different. I'm going to go ahead and use a small radio. Trigger the ability on assets from the Expedition encounter set that are not in play. We're going to trigger Amy Kensler's ability. Spending 1 supply. And exhausting the small radio. We're going to be investigating with a base of 5. So we're actually going to be 5, 6, 7 against 3. And we're going to get to discard a card off the top of the deck if we don't like what we see after the investigate. -3, so we do get 2 clues because of deduction. Ba-boom, I should have lost the 2 that I had from the narrow ridge when I walked up. And also, after we successfully investigate, we trigger Amy Kensler's ability. Look at this top card. It is Hypothermia. It's the first I'm seeing of this. Test 3 willpower. If the level of your location is 4 or 5, reveal an additional chaos token for each this skill test. If you fail, either add a frost token to the chaos bag or take 1 horror for each point you failed by. Yeah, that's a lot of horror. And we're getting a little beat up. I'd rather not just chunk all that. I feel like, well, you know what, though? That's not an enemy. It's not an enemy. It will be her draw, but it's not an enemy. It's tempting to just let myself take that. Yeah, she doesn't actually have any horror on her, so we're going to keep that. That's only at level 4 and 5, and it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're not even there. That's like shortcut and action. So that's it. That's all I've done so far. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. We'll move. Action 2. Losing our other 2 clues. After you move to the steep incline from a location below it, take a damage. And it has 4 clues on it. So we take a damage. Let's go ahead and put that onto... You know what? I'm actually going to put this on Elia Ashravak. I would rather not have a bunch sitting around on Amanda for no particular reason. And then... we're going to use the mineral specimen, third action. Investigating with a base of 5, so 5, 6, 7, 8 against 2. If we succeed at this, we're going to get all 4 clues and be done with that location as well. -4. Boom. 4 clues. All mine. Amanda really likes these supplies. Wow, those are cool. All right, Stella, she's all the way back down at the narrow ridge. She gets rid of the deduction at the end of the test. Stella's just going to go ahead and take the action, so she moves in there. After you move there, you test your agility is 1 plus the location's level. So we're testing 4 against... Ooh, I guess that'd be 5. After you move, is that when... Is it still for Quick Learner? During or before your first action? Is after you move still during the first action? I think it kind of is, in a way. It's reacting to my first action, so I'm going to assume it is. Testing 4 against 5. The nice thing is if I fail, I just pick it back up with my bonus action anyways, for the most part. -2, so yeah, I fail. I drop one of my things. I pick it back up. Second action. Third action, I walk up to the steep incline. Should have lost my clues when I did all this. And then last action, just go ahead and draw a card, I think. A little bit of extra cards in hand never hurt. Another live and learn. Great, I love seeing live and learns. Especially at the front of an agenda flip. When we put an enemy aside, like, come on, right? So, we get a resource on Amanda and a card draw, which is our other medical student. And that will have triggered our Dream Enhancing Serum because it would have readied, and we'd get Day of Reckoning, which is like the perfect timing for that. Oh my god, yes. This is going away immediately, so I'm not going to bother going and searching for that. That agenda is about to flip. But we do need to check our hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're good. Stella's stuff, that is exhausted. Stella's stuff is just a resource and a card draw. A take heart, also nice. Great, great, great. Okay. We get our 6 doom. Let's take a look at what we've got. Re-emergence. The mountainside splits and erupts with snow. A storm of jagged ice shards burst forth from the womb of the mountain. Behind it, the beast emerges. A whirlwind of mist, haunting, alien shapes. Hideous effluvia. It sets its terrible gaze on your party and reaches for you with a tendril of miasma. Put the set-aside Terror of the Stars enemy into play at the highest level location with 1 or more investigators. Each investigator at that location loses control of all expedition assets and places them at their location. Oh, brutal! Alright, but these are all at the steep incline. But we can get them back. I suppose I should have expected that something like that might happen. But we'll put all those aside. And then read Scenario Interlude Tragedy Strikes in the campaign guide. So let's check that out. Scenario Interlude Tragedy Strikes. Find each surviving expedition member, including those currently under an investigator's control, who do not have a check mark drawn next to their name in the expedition team section of the campaign log, and choose one of them at random. If there are no such expedition members, skip the rest of this interlude. It all happens in the blink of an eye. You have only enough time to scream your companion's name before they are seized. Its many shifting shapes coil around their body. They struggle to escape, but it is hopeless. Alright, let's take a look. Clean those up really quickly. Take a look and see who gets it. Moment of truth. Alright, don't dilly-dally, Pax. Come on, bud. Danforth! Oh no, not Danforth! Then, without a moment of consideration, it shoves its tendrils into the victim's body and yanks them apart like a piece of uncooked meat. A spray of blood stains the snow crimson. It drops what remains of your companion unceremoniously onto the ground and turns its attention to you. In the Expedition Team section of the campaign log, cross off the chosen character's name. If they are in play, they are defeated and removed from the game. Well, rest in peace, Danford. You were actually probably one of my favorites, and that fucking sucks. I really liked his ability, and that is a major bummer. I guess there's a bit of a consolation that it wasn't someone that was in play right now, but that's not a huge consolation. Alright, the Terror of the Stars is an X3X, where X is the level of your location to a minimum of 1, so 0, 1, 2, 3, a 3-3-3. Hunter Massive gets +3 per investigator health, so he's a 3-9-3. At the end of the round, move all investigators at Terror of the Stars location to the location directly below it. Victory 1. 2 damage, 2 horror. Wow, that's fucking annoying. So that's brutal. Oh man, that sucks losing Danforth. He had a great ability, and yeah, I was big on the Stella and Danforth shipping. Terror descends. The once flurrying snow has become a tempest of wind and heavy snowfall. If you don't make it across the peak soon, you'll be forced to take shelter, or spend the rest of eternity as a frozen corpse along the mountainside. After you move to a location, return all of your clues to the token pool. It is an 8 Doom agenda, and we have counter cards to pull still. Hypothermia, I knew that was coming. Testing 3 willpower. So I'm a bit less enthused about taking that with all of my stuff gone that I had a minute ago, but it's not that big of a deal. We have these medical students which we could pitch into if we wanted. We still have a promise of power that we can use with Practice Makes Perfect, and I think we're going to go find that. Just to not completely eat it from that. So there's our promise of power. We're going to commit that. Adding a chaos token. Uh-oh, I got to go find my chaos tokens. And by chaos token, I of course mean my curse tokens. So that's getting into the bag. We're testing 6 against 3. Because we're at level 3, we don't have to reveal an additional token. Okay. Let's do this. -3, successful. Great. Please, no enemy. Snowfall, place 2 clues on your location. That's not the worst thing that could happen, I don't think. I did forget to take a damage on Stella when I moved up. So that is important. Now for Amanda, we know that this deduction falls off, and we know that we draw a card, which is a shortcut. And we know for a fact we're putting this Vicious Blow beneath her. There's no way that's not happening. And we're going to have to get a couple of really big wallops on this guy if we're going to pull off a convincing kill. We do need to deal 9 damage, preferably this turn. Otherwise, we really might run out of steam. And so to that end, I'm going to have Amanda go first and see how many times I can hit with this Vicious Blow. So she's going to... She doesn't have her knife out. Probably should have thought about that ahead of time. I should have known that was going to happen. But she's going to go ahead and swing. She's at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I don't want a second. I want to use this one last, so I have curses in the bag at the end. So 4. Let's go 5, 6. And you know what? Toss in this Neither Rain Nor Snow from Amanda. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 against 3. With the first punch for 3 damage with a Vicious Blow. -1, so that's successful for 3 damage. Draw a card from the Overpower. Grizzly Totem. Not that useful this turn, but it will be useful later. We'll go ahead with another punch. And to this one, you know what we're going to do? Do I have any commits on Stella that I can throw into this? Not really, eh? Just Cookie's custom, but I don't really want to use that. Do not really want to use that. I think we can put a wild in from that. So we're at 5. I can go 6. 7 against 3. Once I get these supplies back, I'm actually pretty good against enemies with the dynamite and all that shit. It's just a matter of getting there. 7 against 3. Still got to succeed by 2, but 7 against 3 I'm happy with. -2, perfect. So that's 4 damage this time. And then we'll fight one more time. Excuse me, with the promised power in. Adding another curse token to the bag. So that'll put us at 8 against 3. Oh, come on, baby. I wonder if I should have used Elia Ashevik to do an evade. Because I could evade, move away, pick up the dynamite with Stella, walk away, and dynamite him. It would be the sure thing, but I'd kind of rather kill him this turn and then have Stella pick up the stuff she wants to be ready for the next turn. Because when more enemies start popping out, you guys didn't see the encounter deck when it was being built, but when I built it, there were a fair amount of Elder things left. So definitely a little nervous about that. Let's go ahead. -1. Nice. 3 more damage. He's toast. That's a victory won in the victory display. Oh, thank God. All right, we got a couple curse tokens. Got 2 curse tokens in there from all that. But that certainly could have been worse. So that's Amanda's turn. Oh, fuck. The whole time she did that, she had this Essence of the Dream, which I was completely forgetting about. I could have made one of those tests really easy, but whatever. It is what it is. Stella. Let's give Stella a go. So she's going to go ahead and investigate the location with a Take Heart. 2 against 2. Probably going to succeed because of this, but whatever. Just as soon get these clues quickly so I can pick up all this shit again. -1. Okay. Oh, no, it's 2 against 4 anyways. What am I talking about? So, draw 2 cards. Scrounge for supplies. Resourceful. Great. And 2 resources. So I can really start affording stuff again. We're not going to use live and learn on that. I think that would be a bit wasteful. We are going to start picking things back up. Now, what were the things that I said Stella wanted? I think I'm going to have her first action pick up the green soapstone, because that's the one that deals bonus damage on attack, and that'll be really useful. I should say second action. That'll be really useful when I need to play the Cook's Revolver again. I'm going to do another action to pick up the dynamite. Again, really useful just to be able to dish out a big chunk of damage. And, now that I'm thinking, I wonder if I do this. I wonder if I go ahead and play Cookie's Revolver right now. For 2. And then I spend 3 resources on a Mariner's Compass Investigate. It's a 0 difficulty, and I'm investigating 5 against 0. That's a pretty decent chance to pull off that scavenging. I don't have anything in here to play for 0, but I do have an old keyring that I could get pop this Mariner's Compass out of the way for if I need to get some easier clues. So we'll be investigating 5 against 0. I could fail and succeed by 2 off this, but just as soon give it a go. Going faster doesn't hurt. That is a succeed by 2, so we'll use the scavenging. Probably should commit a resourceful to get this Take Heart back anyways, but old keyring, back to hand. Looking pretty good. Decent shape here. Those are the 2 clues. There's the end of the turn. Amanda readies. Stella's already that way. A Dream Enhancing Serum and a resource for Amanda. And a Madame Lebranche for Stella. That's really nice to see. Would love to get that out as soon as possible, and I will be able to with these spare parts. So perfect. Great. I did miss her resource. 1 Doom up on the agenda. Let's see what kind of dog shit we get on Amanda. Ice Shaft. Test 3 agility. Let's put the Essence of the Dream into this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, let's put the Essence of the Dream into that. So we are testing how much? 6 against 3. You know what? I almost want to get up 1 higher. I don't really have anything to get up 1 higher. That's okay. 6 against 3. And then we're going to start picking stuff up this turn, I think. I want to bring all of it with me if I can. Like I said at the start of the scenario. -3. Okay. Narrowly dodged that. Thank you, Essence of the Dream. Just what I needed you for. I believe I didn't trigger the Stream Enhancing Serum. Yeah, no, I did not. Okay, and then for Stella, Hypothermia. We're still here, so we're testing 3 against 3. And that'll be a bunch of horror if I fail, which will kind of suck. I did use that bad boy. I could commit a single meat cleaver to this to be 1 up. Because I do have 2 meat cleavers, and I don't really need 2 meat cleavers. So, we'll commit 1. Don't need the second one, so it's fine. 4 against 3. Auto-fail anyways. Pooh. 3 horror is a lot of horror right now. But I think I'm willing to risk it. I do not want those frost tokens. Those things are super nasty. Okay, let's go ahead with Amanda, drawing that last card off her deck. Of course, it's my Obscure Studies, the very last thing I needed. We're going to go ahead and put a Perception underneath her, because I think on her turn, she's actually just powering through her deck, and maybe playing a Medical Student after she draws some cards. So we may as well get a nice card draw off the first Perception, and then get it back in. Oh, that won't go back in if I start drawing. Ooh. Yeah, but we can play the Obscure Studies to get it back. So I think that's a perfectly good time to put the Perception on her. But, that being said, I think we're going to go with Stella first. Because she wants to take these spare parts. And immediately give herself a resource. That's 2 actions. Second action, she's going to play Madame Lebranche. And then give herself a resource again. And then last action, she's just going to move up to the last location. 4 Shroud, 2 Clues. After you move to the rocky ledge from a location below it, shuffle the top card of the Tekelili deck into your deck without looking at it. Okay? Not the worst. Somehow I haven't drawn like very many of those that I've got so far. But not the worst. 2 Clues on there. Feeling pretty clever putting that Perception underneath Amanda. Oops, that would have been 4 Clues if I hadn't been a little more careful. Looks like we're in for a lot of victory this scenario, fortunately. Pretty happy about that, because the 13 that I got from the first 3 scenarios, kind of, the first scenario parts 1, 2, and 3, it's pretty good, but it was a lot of playing for only 13 XP. So if this one gives me a big dump, it looks like it's going to be at least 5, if not 6. Another one on the summit, 7 from the Terror of the Stars. It's pretty good. 7. I'm good with 7 with the length of this scenario. That's pretty good. So that's Stella, right? Yeah. Action to take, action to play, move. Okay, that's Stella. Amanda. We are going to shortcut up with her, because I don't want to waste an action on that. Oh, no, I need to pick these up first. Yeah, so we're just going to take all these. 1, 2, 3. Bit of a bummer, but then we're going to shortcut afterwards. And put a Tekelili, shuffle a Tekelili card into her deck. I believe you can't shuffle a card into a single deck, so I'm going to put it into my discard pile. You cannot shuffle a single card in, and that will go to my discard pile. And then we'll be shuffling this in a moment in the upkeep phase, so I'm just going to do that. Okay. So, we'll do a ready. Resource, we'll do a resource and a draw. A little more shuffling off this. And then that lab assistant is going to eat it after I've done my draw. Eureka. She eats it from the shuffle. And then a resource and a draw over here on Stella. Called by the Mists. Hate seeing that, but I think we're going to try to get rid of it, because I don't want to... that's a lot of damage that's coming my way if I'm not careful with it. Okay, 2 out of 8 Doom on Amanda, and we get Rise of the Elder Things. Find the topmost Elder Thing enemy in the encounter discard pile and spawn it engaged with you. Each Elder Thing enemy currently engaged with you gets +1 fight and +1 evade until the end... until the end of the round. If Rise of the Elder Things puts no enemies into play, gain Surge. Topmost. That's an interesting one. The Elder Thing Scavenger. And he is a 4/3/4. Blasphemous Visions. Shuffle the top card of the Tekulili deck into your deck without looking at it. Then, put Blasphemous Visions into your threat area. Resolve the effects of each Tekulili weakness. You draw an additional time. But that's okay, because we've got the Miasmic Crystal, which will let us cancel those. So I think that is actually just giving us a nice willpower test to fail every turn. After we've gotten rid of this Called by the Mists. So we're going to have to get rid of this Elder Thing Scavenger. That's going to be a bit of a pain, but we'll see what we can do. So that is Stella's. Before we continue, we do have to discard this Perception and draw another card, which is an Overpower. We do not have an Overpower, but you know what we could do? We could just put the Overpower underneath her and try to crush this test with a Practice Makes Perfect. And I think I'm going to do that with Amanda. Because even if I just get like one attack off with the Practice Makes Perfect, I can just evade it afterwards with Elia. And then that makes it so Stella's not in such high stress, need to kill him situation. So that's what we're going to do. So that goes under her, and we'll just take her turn immediately. She is going to attack him once, 4, 5, 6, and then we will play for 1 resource. Where's my Practice Makes Perfect? Right there. 1 resource, Practice Makes Perfect. Top 9 cards of the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for practiced card. So you can take the Vicious Blow. We're 6 against 3. Would like for Stella to commit, if possible. So let's see what Stella's got. Really would like to get that 3 damage off if we can. But we can just take more attacks if we have to. She does have a Resourceful she could toss into this. And I think we are going to toss a Resourceful into this. So we're looking at 4, 5, 6, 7 against 3. Where -2s are not that abundant, but they're fine. 2 damage is okay. 3 damage would be best, but 2 damage is okay. Curse. Not good. Really would love for this to not miss. Come on. Oh, right. The Essence of the Dream should be in my hand, and I commit it. Fuck. No, I'm not stupid, guys. I'm not stupid. I keep forgetting about this card. I cannot forget about this card. Yeah, am I cheating? Sure, but -3 total. I hate, it's one thing I hate about Dream Diaries. I just forget to add it to my hand, you know? It's frustrating. So -3, my skill value would have been, with the Essence of the Dream, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we crush them. The Vicious Blow goes to hand. The Resourceful gets a card for Stella. You know what we're going to take is this Neither Rain or Snow. Getting an extra use out of that will be really good now that we've got this Called by the Mists kind of harassing us. And he's toast first action. And now we've got like a whole turn ahead of us. What the hell was I thinking? Spend 2 for medical student to heal Stella 1-1. And then we will investigate using the mineral specimen charge and a perception. So we're going to be at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 against 4. Yep, 9 against 4. -4. So we do only draw 1 card from the perception, which is Whispers of the Deep. But we do get both of the clues off the location, which I'll send flying across my table. And by the way, I feel like I'm not supposed to have clues right now, right? I shouldn't have any more clues on my characters than there currently are on that one location that we've moved to when it spawned. So that is Amanda's turn. Now, as for Stella, she's going to double action this Called by the Mist, because I do not want to get into a dog shit Called by the Mist hypothermia. Sorry, not hypothermia. Hypochondria death spiral. And then she has 1 action left. She's going to try to test the Blasphemous Visions off, which is 3 against 1. Was there any point in doing that, really? No, I don't think so. That just gives me the opportunity to drop one of my expedition things. So what we might do instead is scrounge for supplies for a Take Heart back. How much money am I going to have next turn? I have enough for a fight or flight. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scrounge for supplies, my fight or flight back, 3rd action. That'll put me in a situation where if enemies pop out, Cookie's Custom is a lot more useful. So that's that turn. Get a resource and a draw on both of them. She gets to crack the case. No duplicates. And she does not have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. She doesn't have bonus hand size right now, so she does have to discard. We're just going to go ahead and get rid of the medical student, because I don't think another one of them is going to be super useful. She's going to die the first damage or horror that I take, so she's going to be replaced with the lab assistant. And then for Stella, 1 and Granny Orn, level 3. A little late, but that's what I get for only having 1 copy. There we go. 3 Doom. And an encounter card for Stella is Snowfall. Place 2 clues at your location. Okay, that's really easy for us to clear, so that's actually not a big deal. That one's kind of a bit of a gimme for us. And then Whiteout, -1 to each of our stats. That one's a bit less of a gimme, but we did bring Ellsworth with us, so we can cancel that for the purpose of Amanda's turn. Now, start of Investigator phase, Vicious Blow. Triggers a Dream Enhancing Serum, because we have our other Vicious Blow in hand. Love that. And an Overpower. Okay. The Overpower goes away, and we have to put the Whispers from the Deep underneath us. So, getting these 2 clues, who's doing it, and how do we make it make the best sense? Okay, once again, Essence of the Dream goes into Amanda's hand. Okay? That means that we have a nice big investigate boost on one of our investigates. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the small radio to investigate the location using Dr. Amy Kensler. Base 5. When we start that investigation, we're going to play the Obscure Studies to put the Whispers of the Deep back into our hand. Put the Obscure Studies underneath us. So that puts us at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 because of the -1 to our investigate. 8 against 4. Not bad, and I get to deal with that top card of the deck if I really need to. -4. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1 clue. And then we look at the top card of the encounter deck. Another Blasphemous Visions. I don't think we want to get a Tekelili card into Amanda's deck. Actually, no, that's not the worst thing. That's not enemies. I think the big thing right now is that enemies are what slow us down. A Tekelili card is not the biggest deal. So we did get the clue. And then we will investigate again, this time with our base skill. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. Minus 2 is 8 against 4 again. With a base investigate. Zero. Last clue off that location. Great. Whispers of the Dream is dealt with, so we don't have to worry about that next turn. Love to see that part. And then we're going to play a Crack the Case, giving ourselves and Stella a bunch of money, so I guess 2 each. May as well be 2 each. Yeah, may as well be 2 each. Don't see any reason. Actually, you know what? She might not want the money. She might want to just spend this on a Mariner's Compass use. So I'll just dump it all onto Amanda. Actually, you know what, like, doubly so, is I might just not want to play that and keep that in my hand so that I can trigger it off of Dream Enhancing Serum. So let's not take that 4 resources. Last action, let's move up to the summit. Probably shouldn't do this last action. This is another 6 clue location. Clues on the summit can only be discovered by investigating. Oh, Christ. When the summit is revealed, add a frost token to the chaos bag. Okay, let's go get that. Frost token, chaos bag. And this says Victory 1, 3 Shroud, resign, add each expedition asset you control to the victory display, return all of your clues to the token pool. Which, by the way, she loses all of her clues. I don't think... I'm just going to do a quick double read on this. It doesn't say that I have to clear the clues off of this, but they can only be discovered by investigating. So, I can just resign right now if I want to. But we've got plenty of time. I'd love to get this VP. Let's give it a go. That's the end of Amanda's turn. Stella. What can you do, sweetheart? The old key rings can do a lot of work, but I think we're going to go ahead right off the bat, move up, and do exactly what I said. We're going to investigate with the Mariner's Compass, +3 to it. That's second action, so it is 5 against 3. Do we want to put anything to it with this? Let's do a Eureka to be 6 against 3. Actually, you know what? We're going to do 5 against 3, and then we can do a couple of different live and learns to see if we can get it. And maybe I'll put a Eureka into the live and learns to make them 6 against 3 again. So, or sorry, 5 against 3 again. So we'll do 5 against 3, 2 up. Don't mind failing too badly, because I got a couple of different ways to give it another go. -4 if you fail. Elder thing, yeah, that doesn't happen. No elder things in play, but we do fail. We'll play a live and learn. We're trying this test again, 4 against 3, and we'll commit a Eureka to it. And you know what? 5, 6 against 3, 3 up. A lot of ways to fail this, but need to get them. Need to get them somehow. Auto fail. Okay. Is what it is. Let's do another live and learn. Testing 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. 8 against 3. 5 up. For the damn clues. Give me the dang clues. I want my 2 clues. This is
second action still, by the way. -1. So we get 2 clues off that. 2. We did fail, so we have 2 actions left. I could just test 2 against 1, but that seems like awful. I don't really want to place my expedition stuff on the location. So let's spend, or let's get a buck from Madame Lebranche first, and then let's spend a buck off the spare parts to grab another resource. So we're up to 2 resources. We do get to scavenge off of that investigate. Now that I'm thinking about it, we get to scavenge, and we're going to if I did this in the right order, right? Get an old keyring. But no, I couldn't have played that, so it would go to hand. So I'll have to do third action, play the old keyring. And then fourth action, investigate with the old keyring, which is bringing it down to a 0 difficulty. 2 against 0. -1, remove a key, get a clue. Okay. Happy enough with that. Okay, so a resource and a draw over here is a manual dexterity. That's not bad to see right in these last kind of the last throws of this game. And for Amanda, it's going to be a draw for a deduction. Great to see. And a resource. I'll probably toss that Grizzly Totem into play and then put it onto the deduction or something like that. Okay. That's that. 1 Doom. And encounter cards for me. Take a Lily card into Amanda's deck. Again, not the worst thing in the world. And then that goes into her threat area. I'd almost like to draw these if I could and cancel them with this miasmatic crystal. So I might spend a turn just like drawing cards if I'm not getting pressured on Doom or enemies anytime soon. Wouldn't mind an enemy actually, because I got the soapstone I could just dump into Cookie's Custom. And then for Stella, she gets the Constricting Elder thing. 5 health is the level of your location. There we go. That's going to be tricky to deal with. Let's engage with you can't move to locations above your location. Okay, well, it is what it is. Amanda loses her obscure studies. She draws a shortcut, which is not very useful. We're going to leave these vicious blows in her hand so that she can help Stella kill him. And we're going to go ahead and put the deduction underneath her. Okay, so now it's time to think about how this turn is going to look. Should have discarded this whiteout ages ago, but not a big deal. The ordering stuff I think is only for the Elder Thing guys. So we do have this massive fight or flight that we can do on Stella and just take a bunch of big swings on this guy. +4 is a lot. 9 against like 5 is super reasonable. Only problem is we only get 1 shot with a vicious blow into it. So I think what we're going to do is precisely that. We're going to do 1 for a fight or flight, where we're getting +4 to combat. So our first shot is 3, +4 is 7, +2 is 9, excuse me. 9 against 5, because it's +2 difficulty on the first attack. 9 against 5. -1, so we succeed. We will use a green soapstone charge to deal an additional damage, which I kind of forgot about, for 3. And then we'll shoot again. This time we are 9 against 3. So we're a bit more in the clear on that curse token that's in there. But we are still subject to an auto fail, which would really suck. And kind of be, you know, a little poopy. But a -2 is enough to deal 2 more damage. He's toast. We've got 1 action left because we haven't failed this turn. But we are just going to use the old keyring charge to attempt another investigate of 2 against 0. And then once all the clues are gone, then we can start drawing through for our Tekalilis and canceling them and getting them out of our deck. Because I'd like to start the next scenario with a bit fewer of them. They are not the worst thing in the world. They're interesting, but they can be a road bump early on. -1, well, that's fine. We'll just get our 2 clues that we wanted anyways. 1, 2 back on the location, and then 1 on to Stella. And we lose the old keyring. Fine. That is Stella's turn. Amanda is going to cry a bit because she doesn't actually have any good commits this turn, except for the Essence of the Dream, which I keep forgetting. So that goes to hand. That goes away. Oh yeah, right, and the big thing that she can really do is use her spare radio to use Dr. Amy Kensler again. Investigating at base 5, so 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, 8, 9. Not 8, 9, 10, 11, but 9 against 3. -4. So we get the 2 clues for Amanda. We'll look at this top card of the... Let's look at the top card of our deck. It is a Tekalili, so we are going to keep that. Because what we're going to do next, that was first action, was that investigate, clearing the location. We're going to draw a card as an action. We're going to see this Tekalili. We're going to use a charge off of this to cancel the effects of the weakness, place it on the bottom of the Tekalili deck, and draw another card. A deduction. And then we're going to play 1, 2, 3 for a Grizzly Totem. I know that this is maybe a little bit of durdling, but the way I see it is I would really like... There's a risk of putting more clues back on this, but I'd like to get rid of these Tekalilis, and I'm pretty sure I can get 2 more clues now that I've drawn another deduction. So I'm feeling pretty secure on that front. So that's the Investigator's turns. Let's go ahead and do upkeep. We get a resource and a draw on Amanda, which is our Unexpected Courage, which we do not have a duplicate of. Small radio is ready, but it's not very useful anymore. Green Soapstone Dynamite. We get 1 more draw on her, which is an old keyring. Great. Another way to get these clues back easily. And a resource. We're both readied. We'll get 1 more Doom. We are at 5 out of 8. And a counter card for Stella. Nightmarish Vapors. You must either lose 2 actions or shuffle the top 2 cards of the Tekalili deck in your deck without looking at them. 2 actions gone from Amanda. And then Stella, another Constricting Elder Thing. Yuck. X is the level of your location. Well, that's a bummer, because dealing a bunch of damage to him is actually going to be a bit of a pain now that Amanda's actions are all gone. But we're going to get rid of that. Draw a card. It's the knife. It's fine. We're going to go ahead and put the Vicious Blow underneath her, and we're going to just try and wall up this guy in 1 hit. We are going to be swinging into Stella, but, you know, everything requires a little bit of sacrifice, right? There's nothing in the world that doesn't require a bit of sacrifice. So, with our only action on Amanda, we are going to swing with the Vicious Blow and the Overpower and the Essence of the Dream that went to our hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in hand, unfortunately. Maybe I instead do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's the same amount, but I don't use up a card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 against 3. Do I have anything to commit over here just to push it over the edge a little bit? Nope. 9 against 3. Would like to succeed by 2 if possible, but if not... Oh, no. Right. This guy has 5 health, not 5 combat. So 9 against 3, and I'll be dealing 3 damage if it hits. I need to hit twice. That was what I was more worried about. But I'd like this first one to be a big hit, and the other one could be a marginal hit. 9 against 3. Elder Sign. So this gets doubled, but that's not a big deal. It deals 3 damage. The Essence of the Dream goes away. We draw a card because of the Grizzly Totem, which is a shortcut, which we already have a copy of, so we draw another card because of our Dream Enhancing Serum. That was Amanda's turn. Stella, now that I'm looking at her, she actually doesn't have a lot of great options. I might just have to evade him and get the hell out of here. As much as I don't want to. The other option is to evade him and let him engage onto Amanda and deal with him next turn. It's not great. It's not great. But I could always punch him with a green soapstone now that I'm out of ammo. Not that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and try to evade him. We're 4 against 4. Not a big deal if we fail one. 4 against 4. I wouldn't like to drop any of these, and I wouldn't like to pull that Elder thing, but it would be a bit of a shame if any of those happened, but whatever. -1, so we do fail. Now we're 4 against 2 on the next test. 4 against 2. We do have 3 actions remaining, which is the spot that we wanted to be at. 4 against 2. -1. 3 against 2. -5, so that's also a fail. And now we're 4 against 0, so let's do that. I could just punch him 3 against 1 and deal a bonus damage with the soapstone if I thought I could do that, but I'm not certain I can pull that off. So this time, let's put in that manual dexterity to cycle a card. Wouldn't mind cycling a card. 6 against 0. -2, so I draw a card, and he gets evaded. It's emergency cash, not super useful, but he's evaded at the location. Oh, come on. Don't be hateful of me right now. And then I have 1 action remaining. You know what? I think at this point, I'm kind of pushing my luck a little bit. And I'm going to push it 1 more turn, I think. We're going to push it 1 more turn. I am going to fight him 3 against 1 and use the soapstone if I can get that last damage. Push it 1 more turn, and we can just resign first action if the clues don't come out. And if the clues do come out, I can essence the dream deduction through an attack of opportunity and then resign. That'll be the game plan. -1, so we defeat him anyways with the soapstone use. So he gets fucked. Bit of a do-nothing turn, but, you know, that's, like I said, I'm just trying to get these Tekalilis out of my deck a little bit. So we draw a card and gain a resource for Amanda. Ba-boom, crack the case, which I think, do we have a copy of that right now? No, I committed that earlier, so that's fine. And then a resource and a card for Stella is a resourceful. That's pretty good. We're up to 6 out of 8 Doom. And let's look at encounter cards. First for Amanda is Hanging on the Edge. Test 3 agility. If you fail, take 2 damage, lose control of each expedition asset you control, and move to the location directly below you. Well, that sucks. So we're just going to go ahead and commit like everything to this, right? Let's commit 4 to that. Let's commit 5 to that. That'd be 7 against 3. And let's commit a resourceful from Stella too. So we're going to be like 8 against 3. Really don't want that to happen. That would just be a massive pain in the ass. And I have the stuff to commit to it, so I may as well commit to it. 8 against 3. -1. Okay. So, resourceful does trigger, so we get to return something to our hand. Trying to think of what is even that useful to return to my hand right now. I mean, I may as well just return. I'll just return and take heart. It's a bit of draw acceleration if I fail my first action. And then for Stella, another Hanging on the Edge. Okay. A bit less annoying, but also kind of shitty. So we'll commit a take heart to this on the off chance that I do fail it. Just so that I can kind of recover a little bit. If I have... Oh, the resourceful's gone. But sometimes the take heart's as good as an elder sign, right? So... I am one up. There's a chance. I got plenty of health, so that's not the big deal. The big deal really is more dropping 3 of these, needing to come back up, pick them all up, and resign, right? Like that's the real problem. -2, so this is probably not happening now. Wonder if I should have committed more from Amanda. I don't think she had anything to commit. And a -1. So if you fail, take 2 damage. 1, 2. Lose control of each expedition asset you control, placing it at your location. So all of these go at the summit. And move to the location directly below you. And then the cultist token also makes me move to the location below me. But I do get to draw 2 cards with Take Heart and gain 2 resources. Not that that's going to help me tremendously. Tekelili. Takes me a horror, and that is going to go away. And then, oh, look what I found. So 1 horror onto her. We'll put that onto Madame, and we'll put 1 of the damage onto Madame as well. And then we'll clean this up a little bit. And actually, with the Blasphemous Vision, sorry, I moved things around a little bit to kind of clean up the board a little. I actually had to resolve that additional time, so we'll put that extra horror onto Madame and just kill her off. She's kind of served her purpose. Thanks, Madame. And we're down at the steep incline. Now she's got to walk all the way back up, which is a bit of a bummer. But first, let's look at Amanda and see what she gets. The Day of Reckoning. So that gets rid of the Elder thing, or the Elder Sign token from the bag. Right there. And then we need to put a card underneath her. Go ahead and put underneath her a Dream Enhancing Serum, because I don't think that's going to be getting us any additional stuff. And then we'll go ahead and take Stella's turn. She has 4 actions, so she's going to move up. After you move here, shuffle the top card of the Tekelili deck into your deck without looking at it. She's going to move again. She's going to take control of the spare parts. And then she has 1 action left. She's going to use the Resign. Add each expedition asset you control to the victory display. Return all of your clues to the token pool. So this is going up into the victory display. And she has resigned successfully. So we'll just do a quick cleanup on her. Alright, she's all cleaned up, but probably shouldn't have spent the time doing that because Amanda's turn is actually going to be pretty simple. She's going to take these 2 supplies off the location. And then 3rd action, she's going to also resign, which puts all of these up into the victory display alongside that killed guy. She's done. Let's clean that Day of Reckoning up as well. Not too bad. Pretty cool scenario. I think hopefully at least a good result to the scenario. And let's take a look at the objective. Get to the top of the mountain. Each undefeated investigator has resigned. Advance. A City of Wonder. After a long and arduous journey up the mountainside, you've reached the Forbidden Peaks. You hope the pain and horror you've suffered along the way is behind you, but you fear that it will persist and become relentless. Resolution 1. The view from the summit is breathtaking, but you are in no mood to enjoy the spectacle. Sprawled before you, on the other side of these accursed peaks, lies the city described in Dyer's report. Its haunting visage is unmistakable. Dozens of conical and pyramidal buildings of dark slate and sandstone are honeycombed throughout the region like a labyrinth of perfect geometric shapes. Though weathered by the ages, the city still stands, hidden by the jagged peaks and the heavy snow. For a while, you stand in silence and take in the wondrous sight. If it weren't for the many trials you faced along the way, it would be a moment of triumph. But after the sacrifices made to get here, the victory rings hollow. A freezing wind blows across the peaks. The air is too thin for you to linger here. After a moment's rest, you begin the long trek down into the alien city. You will have to make camp before you reach the bottom. With any luck, you'll be hidden from the dreadful creatures that dwell there. In your campaign log, record the team climb to the summit. Each investigator earns experience equal to the victory X value of each card in the victory display, which I believe was 6 from locations and 1 from the Terror from the Stars. Pictured here in the art. For each expedition asset in the victory display, an investigator may choose to add that asset to their deck. It does not count towards their deck size. For each expedition asset added to an investigator's deck this way, that investigator earns 1 bonus experience. Oh, that's great. Okay, so I'm pretty sure I know which ones are going in which, and I'll pop them up at the start of the next video when I'm going over my deck building. But I think it's going to be 4 of them are going into Stella and 3 of them are going into Amanda. So I'll record, I'm going to do this right now, 11 VP for Stella and 10 VP for Amanda. For each expedition asset that is not in the victory display, cross it off. Well, we got all of them. We got there. In the expedition team section of the campaign log, record the amount of damage and horror on each partner. Now, we did have 1 damage on Elia Ashevak at the end of that scenario. I did not need to, but, such is playing it a little safe. And now we will proceed to Interlude 2, The Endless Night. Endless Night 1. Once again safe, you and your companions set up camp in silence. You marvel at how much quieter the evening is compared to those that came before, be it due to your dwindling numbers or the grim mood that hangs over the camp. But the quiet is anything but peaceful. As the hours pass, you can't seem to get any rest. You decide instead to check on your companions. You only have enough time to check on a few team members, regardless of whether they are alive or crossed out. One at a time, choose and read 3 of the sections below. 4 instead if the team found another way through the mountains, which we did not. If the game effect of this chosen section cannot be performed, it does not count towards this total, and you may choose a new section instead. After you have read the appropriate number of sections, proceed to Endless Night 2. Let's go ahead and start with the expedition leader, Dr. Amy Kensler. If Dr. Amy Kensler is alive and Dr. Kensler is sharing her research with you, is recorded in your campaign log. Proceed. Dr. Kensler is unsurprised when you enter her tent. She looks up from her desk and tilts her glasses down to gaze at you directly. Here to inquire after my findings, she asks, to which you nod. Very well. You note her unusually warm demeanor as you approach and peer over her shoulder. In front of her, a section of one of an elder's thing's limbs is dissected with expert precision. Dark green liquid stains its scaly flesh and the surface beneath it alike. She raises her glasses once again and turns to face her anatomical sample. It's not unlike us, she says, just as Dyer suggested in his own account. And yet somehow, they're able to survive incredible pressure and cold, perhaps even the vacuum of space. What I don't understand is... She breathes deep and continues. Dyer's report only accounts for the waking of a few of these creatures from their hibernation. Why, then, are so many of them active? Dr. Kensler's research allows you to view the situation with greater clarity. In your campaign log, record Dr. Kensler is on the verge of understanding. If William Dyer is alive. The professor paces back and forth, running his fingers through his graying hair. They are connected. They must be connected, he rambles to himself as you approach. The elder things and these manifestations, these mirages, he continues, as if to answer your unspoken question. When we were here last, I saw images of the elder things in conflict with the other species, the other alien beings. But what if the true source of their fear lies here on Earth? His gaze meets yours. What if this wasn't their true home? What if they were guarding something? Speaking with Professor Dyer helps you to see reason within this madness. Any one investigator may choose and remove up to 5 Tekelili weaknesses from their deck, shuffling them with the remainder of the Tekelili encounter set. Well, let's take a quick look through Stella's deck here. I've got a horror version, I've got a lose an action version, I've got a 2 resources version, looking good. I've got a place a clue version, and I've also got another place a clue version. So that's 5 Tekelili weaknesses removed from Stella's deck. Good thing I guess I stuck around and tried to get rid of them the old-fashioned way, but thankfully the Professor Dyer was willing to help us out. Finally, we'll check in with Avery Claypool again. You find Claypool at the edge of the camp looking out over the alien city. Remarkable, isn't it? You nod and mention that the architecture is unlike anything you've seen before. No, not that. I mean, that too, but look. He points to the enormous peaks looming beyond the city in every direction, like a boundary. It's built to block and funnel the wind. They chose precisely the right place to build their city. And the way these structures and streets are built, they're mostly protected from excess snowfall. He glances at you meaningfully before continuing. These creatures chose the harshest place on Earth to make their home, and despite all odds, they thrived. You wonder if perhaps this means the inclement weather you faced thus far will abate during the next leg of your journey. Unlikely, he responds. A lot of the natural safeguards they built into their city seem to have weathered away, and there's likely a lot more ice than there would have been back in their time. But I'll make sure we avoid the nastiest of it. Claypool's predictions help you stay safe from the inclement weather. Remove 1 frost token from the chaos bag. Endless Night 2. You try in vain to sleep, but the night seems to go on forever, your thoughts meandering endlessly in a maze of worry and doubt. If you've already played Scenario Fatal Mirage this campaign, proceed to Endless Night 3. Well, I haven't done that. Otherwise, check the Expedition Team section of the campaign log. If there are 3 or more names crossed out, skip to Endless Night 4, which we do not have. Otherwise, proceed to Scenario 3, City of the Elder Things. And City of the Elder Things is where we'll pick up in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the live play of Edge of the Earth. I'm really enjoying this campaign so far. A little different for me to bring it in this kind of live card format, especially with the way I've been editing my Tabletop Simulator videos. It feels a little out of my element to have so much empty space, I'll say, when I'm searching through the Chaos Bag and stuff like that. So, thank you for being patient through the videos. They're going to be a bit longer, obviously, because of that factor. But I hope you're enjoying it, and I'll see you next time.